Are there any funny instances from your life which you're able to recall now?
I just do these 5 things and I thought it could help them. When you say that I can help you, it means you are putting them in a lower position as you are. The strength, is a strength as long as you know the limits of it. When you are on 0 and you go to a scale of 100, as long as you keep going towards that direction, it's good.
Yeah.
But beyond 100, it actually hurts. Once we did Strengths Finder, not only did I do it for myself, but I did with the people, 12 people within the team. Okay. And we were able to come up with a grid of by people, how do the strengths map out? And it was quite interesting that we had a general balance of skills across the board, where some people leading in some areas, some people not. And I know intuitively, but also through the result, that execution is not my strength. Right, I can be very top line. I could force myself to go to execution, but that's not my strength in a natural sense. So what we had done in the change management too is we identified 3-4 people who were excellent at executing, who had 3 strengths within that bucket, and we said, you as a team will help us drive this piece.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where understanding not only your own strengths but the other people's strengths, and then collectively thinking, where do we keep responsibility for certain activities, has a generally higher chance of success.
Absolutely. And in fact, I'm so glad you shared that, because, that was going to be one of my follow-up questions. That, when you did this for your team members, because that's what Liz had told me, last year when I was talking to her.
Right.
And so I was going to ask that, when you did this for your team members, did you also prepare a strengths grid? What were some of the insights that came up? So thank you for adding that bit here.
Right.
Now coming back to my follow-up question to the earlier one, Rolif. Now you shared a very profound, instance where you could mindfully apply all this. Having said that, let's go to the other end and see, when you look back, are there any funny instances from your life which you're able to recall now, where maybe one of these talent teams was unconsciously influencing you, which led to some, humorous or let's say funny, outcomes or some funny insights to pick up from?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny when I look back at it, right? But it wasn't funny at that time. See, my key strength, which I didn't know at that time was a strength, was the ability is woo, right? Is to be able to connect with people, bring them in, make them feel comfortable. And any strength, by definition, if overused, becomes a weakness, right? And I have in my past used woo too much and too frequently, And I remember when I had first moved from US to Canada. Canada was a different entity for me. I didn't know the team, etc. And US was, I felt at that time, more advanced in what we were doing. So when I went there, I started to speak with the team. I started to interact, and I said, okay, you're doing these 3 things. I've done these 5 things, and this will help you actually do much better. And I'm very happy to show you what it is, spend time with you, etc. Really going out of my way to make them feel, comfortable and part of the growth journey that the company had as well. But then I got a feedback from my manager. They said, "Why are you going and speaking to these people? What are you trying to do?" So I said, "I just do these 5 things, and I thought it could help them." So he said, "Did they ask you for help? Right? Did when you say that I can help you, it means you are putting them in a lower position as you are. Why do you think they need help? If they need help, they'll come and ask you." And this is where I felt that the strength, is a strength as long as you know the limits of it. Right. So my learning from that experience was that I need to build a relationship using my rule, but don't assume that people need help. Rather, try to be more, let's say, a shining beacon of an example, and let people come to you. So anyway, that was an experience. At that point in time, Sri, and this is not a funny experience, right? But at that point in time, for me, it was quite distressing, because I had this assumption in my mind that when you are on 0 and you go to a scale of 100, as long as you keep going towards that direction, it's good.
Yeah.
But beyond 100, it actually hurts. It hurts, and I didn't know that at that time, which was my learning.